This is Irontrader, and this is Midday Trading. So I want to take a look here at NFLX. Now, I did a video here a couple days ago about it, so we'll check in on that. We'll take a look here at PLTR, and we'll take a look here at GGOGL. Okay, this video is for information purpose only, not a recommendation by selling stock market ETF. Please like, subscribe. Thanks for watching. Alrighty, here we have NFLX, your daily and weekly. Now, before we get started here, okay, you can see how the market is just coming off. The Dow's down about 390. Nasdaq's down 360 and S&P is about 71. Now tomorrow's going to be very, very key because tomorrow we have that CPI. They moved it from the 11th to the 13th. So Friday the 13th, we got the inflation number. So I'm calling here for that. We're going to get ourselves a nice good correction. I don't know how deep it's going to be, but it could be all the way 10%, but we'll get a pretty good correction here because just ask yourself, once the earnings are done, what's going to hold this market up? I mean, can only go by, possible rate cuts and all this nonsense here just for so long before it's like, we're going to be going lower. Okay, so this is what we have on NFLX. So when I was looking at this the other day, we were watching this, I was watching this candle right here, and it went right into that 21-day. So I said, if it gets above the 21-day, then I would take a long on that, and I'd get into that 50-day, and then I'd possibly even on that retest there at the 91.58, okay? But your big targets obviously would be that 89.96, that 50 SMA here. But now you can see here how it went right on up here into that 21-day, and now she pulled right back. So I tell you, we were watching that 79.22. That's what I was watching, and now you can see where we're crashing lower than that. Now, again, you can see here how this is just stair-stepping lower on the situation. Anytime that it does rally, if it gets past that 8, that 21-day stops it pretty much cold in its tracks all the way in down. So you got to really respect that 21 SMA. So I took no trade here because this just looks like it gets lower. Sometimes you got to sit in your hands and just be patient. And so you miss a little bit. If it closes above it, then you got a good shot. But if it doesn't close above it, it's going lower. And look what's happening here now, okay? So when we look at this whole overall chart here, here's your a daily chart. Now, ever since they announced that they're buying all these, they want to buy that production company, I don't know, okay? So right now, so far we hit a low. What do we hit for a low there? Let's see here. 75.23 level, okay? So what we have to do is just look at the top of that candle. You have next is 72.24 level. We come over top of that candle at 71.13. We'll come there at 69.75. And then we can come all the way, just venture right on up there. You're looking at 68 level. And then we come down here to that 643. And then we work yourself all the way down. But your big target here on NFLX is going to be this 200-day on the weekly chart. So always pull up a weekly chart. It gives you a lot of good information on big targets, okay? So right there, 63.41, that's what we're looking at. So all I got to do is just go to the left of the chart here, okay? We just take a look and see what's going on right there. See how that is right there? We just take all these candles, and anytime we have a price channel, now that's going to become all your nice good support levels, okay? But right now, your big target on NFLX is 63.41. And then we have to see what is the reaction if it does get there, once it does get there. I think it's going to get there because this is just selling right on off here. There's nothing bullish about this chart, whatsoever, kind of a situation, okay? Now, NFLX is always a very, very good trade, and then once it's split, and once they decided to buy that production company, you can see their earnings just were not that good, okay, after that fact, okay? Came right down. If we big this up here a little bit, see how that we had that earnings and then it just dropped right down. This earnings here just dropped right down and just continued, and you're out of favor right now. So again, if it comes right down to this 200 SMA, then we have to make a decision here, well, it'll make a decision for you. Does it keep right on rolling down, or is that where it stops, and then we take a nice good trade on up here? But always pay attention to these simple moving averages, okay? We have that 8-day and that 21-day, that 50-day, the 100-day, and that 200-day, because if you can't get through that, it's not going higher. Okay, let's take a look here now at PLTR. All right, here we have PLTR, your daily and your weekly chart. Now, when we look at their numbers, even like in a past here, this kind of dropped down. This in here it rallied on up here, and then this one here dropped down, and then the last earnings it just kind of fell right off. Now PLTR was a really, really good stock. This is when I traded this here, and after hours it got to 122. I sold it at 222, and I sold it at 220 level. So I didn't get the absolute high, but it came in here pretty close, and it really hasn't done anything ever since. Okay, so when you look at this chart here on the upside, you got to be able to. You still have to hold that 128.32 level. That's going to be very, very critical, okay? Now, again, if you cannot hold that 128.32, then all we have to do is just bring this right over here. And what do we have here next? Okay, so you're looking at 125.41. That's going to be your next level. Now, if we start losing that, because that's very important, because simple reason is, as it ran on up here, you made a high. Then it consolidated, and then you broke out of that high. Now that becomes very, very nice support. Okay, so you're looking for 125.41. Next level there would be 120.67 level, and then we come down here at 116 level. Okay, then we just start following these candles all the way down here. You're looking at, you can go down to 105 level. We come down here to your 89.31 level. We come down to the bottom there. You're looking at 81 level, and then right here we're looking at that all the way down here to that 66 level, and then here's your big target is at 54.84. Now I'm not saying that's where it's going to go, but right here is very, very key. So all you have to do is just bring these price channels right across, and those are going to be all your key support levels here going all the way on down. And that doesn't hold this key level at 66.12. You're going to hit that 54.84. Now you can see here on this on the chart here now, where that 8-day crossed over that 21-day, and now we're headed towards that 50-day. So anything kind of a rally up, that's going to be very, very strong resistance. And we look out here on the weekly, the daily chart here. Okay, see how strong that 8-day is. And once you get that 8-day, where did it go? Right into that 21-day. So I always call that 21-day the catch-all, but it works both ways. Okay, whether it catches on the downside or catches up on the upside, you can see where it has it. You just cannot simply get through that. So now what you're doing, yesterday we had, it went right into that 8-day, could not hold it. And now we're watching here, but we're watching that retest at that 128.32. So next big level, I say, is just watch the top of that candle. You're looking at 125.41. It needs to hold that. Otherwise, you're going to go to that 120.67. You got that 116.30 level here. Then we can just start bringing those price channels, I say, right across. Okay, so that's going to be your next big target at that 105 level. Then we have a nice big target here at 89, and then we have a nice big target there all the way down to that 66 level before we hit the 54. But right now, tech is just not in play. It just wants to sell off. So again, always put the daily and the weekly and gives you a good gist here of exactly what's going on. So when you look at this chart here, see we have a left shoulder, a head, and a right shoulder here, okay? So it went up here, and now it could come all the way down. So all you do is you measure from the top down to the neckline, and that's where it could come down. But again, you got that big target down here at 54.84 level. Now, if it did get down to this area, I'm not saying that's where it's going to go, but I say if it did, I think, and it holds that area, that could be a really good buying opportunity here to take it up. But again, we're holding at 127. Let's see how it closes today. But you really got to hold that 128 level on a closing basis today. Now, here on the upside, well, we look at today's high, 135.89, but you got to get above and close above that key 8 SMA at 138.60. If we do, then we just look right here at the top of that candle. You're looking at 145.87 level. We'll come up here, 151 level, and then we'll be looking for that 154, that 21-day. Then we have your 200-day at 160, then your 50-day at 170, and then we have the 100 SMA sitting there at 175, and your retest at 182. Okay, but right now, this here, whether it's a great stock or not, it's following all tech, and it's following all the way on the downside. Okay, let's take a look here now at Google. All right, here we have Google. Okay, now Google here was a really good trade, and I think they had a lot of good stuff going on here. But again, they're all grouped in with the tech. Okay, so actually Google's up just about $1 today right now here. So you're sitting not too bad, but overall this is not looking good. Now remember, Nvidia, okay, which is down $2 today, so it's not down too bad. Their earnings are coming up on the 25th, so that's going to kind of like set a tone. But if you look at Nvidia's earnings here and how the stock trades, they blow out the numbers, and then what happens? Okay, the stock just gets cratered. Okay, so let's just take a look. Now, what we really need to hold is this price channel right here. Okay, that's the retest at 306.46 on Google. Okay, if not, right here's your target at 295.31. Okay, now we look at this right here. We go next here. We lose that. You got 295.31. But right above it, we have that 296. So this is very, very close, the 21-day and the 100-day. So odds of that holding are probably pretty good kind of a scenario, okay? But now, if we start losing that 100-day, okay, so if you bring the price channel this all the way across here, you got that 291 level, 59 level, that's going to be next. Then we come down here to that 275. And then we come down here to that 261 level. And then you look all the way onto the bottom here. Okay, you got 256. And then we could come all the way down here to that 242 level, very, very easy. But you got to lose a lot in order to get it. But I like to show you where it possibly could go here if we start losing all these key levels, okay? So if you lose that price channel, we lose that 100-day, well, there's your next big target at that 242. Now, again, corrections are meant to be bought. Okay, so if this corrects, and say we do get a good, say, 8 to 10% correction, that would be a really good buying opportunity here to go long. Okay, so always look at it, as the glass is half full. Don't look at it and say, oh, it is. But you can always jump into shorts. That's always a good one here too. But Google right now, we're holding this key level at that 306 level. But just always watch it. We start losing it. Watch that 295. Watch that 296. That's going to be very, very key level. Now, here on the upside, we got to get back above that 50 SMA here, okay? That 321.50. Now, you can see here how the 8-day crossed over the 21-day, and that's not bullish. That's going to cross over that 50-day, and they could send that price down lower. But again, if you can get above that 50-day, that's going to be resistance, 321. Then your next level is going to be right there at 324. Then we have your 21-day at 329. Now, again, if we can crack above that, well, then we go to this target right here, looking at that 340, and then obviously your breakout is 349 level. Now, I think Google here, they really got it going on. You got to figure they sponsored that the big portion of that Super Bowl with their YouTube TV. Now, I have YouTube TV, and I love it. I think it's just fantastic. I mean, they keep adding stations, and you just for one price. I think they raised it now. It's $82.99, but you get, I don't know, 130, 140 stations now and there, and it's really good because you can record stuff. You can say you're on vacation for a month. You can just you can shut it off. There's no bill for you. You can add different stuff. And it's a really, really, I think it's really probably one of the best streaming services out there. Okay, so I think they're doing everything right. They're doing everything like with the AI, kind of situation. But you got to be patient with that AI because it's a build out. It's going to take time. It's not going to be everything going to be instant. So really on Google, just watch that 306 level. If not, we come right down to that 296 and that 295, and then we have to see what the reaction is once it gets there. Okay, but everything you really need to know here is sitting right here. If we start losing it, okay, that's all your support levels until you hit that 200 SMA. All right, that's what I got for you. I'll be back here after the pit close. We'll take a look here at Bitcoin, gold, silver, crude oil, natural gas. But everything is, and the old indexes, but everything is selling off here. Now I see silver is down. I stopped out of my silver with the SLV. So everything is down here, but just look for buying opportunities, okay, or at least scalping opportunities. And always keep in mind, we have that CPI number there tomorrow at 8:30, and that definitely could be a market mover in either direction. All right, trade what's in front of you, not what you want.